Wait, you would have made that. Wait, wait, what? 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 You, the hook. The hook's right there. The hook's right. Oh, the hook's over there. It's right there. Yeah, it's right there. You could have made it. Okay, so this match here comes to us from Blade1213. They're on console. They couldn't get their hours for me, which is fine. Preferably if you can send me your hours or find a way to track your hours for me, that'd be great, because the reason I request your hours when everything's match reviews is because obviously if you're like 100 hours, I expect much less of you. If you're making a lot of like big mistakes, I'm gonna be like, well, you're just starting. Like, it's okay. On the flip side, if you have like, you know, 5,000 hours and you're making very like beginner mistakes, it's a little bit less, you know, a little bit less understandable. So that's why putting your hours is important. It's not a big deal if you can't get them in, but it's like, it gives me a lot of context, and the whole point of this is me trying to help you. It gives me a lot of context. All right, so this match from Blade1213 is a Plague match, which is a character that is one of those characters that I don't particularly myself gravitate towards, but I do enjoy them. I do think they're fun. It's just that, like, I feel like with their, I feel like there's a lot of things that a lot of overlap with Huntress that I would just rather play Huntress. But also a lot of the way that Plague plays is very like, I don't know, not interactive. You just puke on gens and then bad stuff happens to survivors in the background. I like things a little bit more active. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this match review. Okay, Blood Lodge. Not the most killer-sided map, but not an awful map, especially the update that's coming. The update's coming that's very good. Okay, so you have lethal, so you know where they are. So she's out of position, so it's good that you're going to capitalize on this. I will say, especially with the strategy that you were using, by having Corrupt Intervention, is usually what you want to do with Plague. Because if you want to play Plague and you want to run Corrupt Intervention, which ideally you probably are because it's her teachable, there's going to be 3 gens across the map. They're going to be locked to you, meaning that you can't interact with them, but neither can the survivors. What you want to do as Plague is, at the beginning of the match, go to every gen that is not locked, so the remaining gens that are unlocked by your Corrupt Intervention, or that are not blocked by your Corrupt Intervention, and vomit on those specifically. Because when you do that, the survivors either have an option here. They're essentially putting them in a lose-lose situation where, hey, do I wait out the Corrupt for 2 full minutes and just like mess around? Or do I touch a gen and get sick? So it's kind of like an extra way to, or an extra easy way to get a lot of people sick at the start of a game right away. That's very, very good. Even when they nerfed Corrupt, it's still a fantastic strategy and always has been. So I would definitely do that. What you're doing here is not bad because you caught somebody out, like, you know, out of position. So she's probably going to go down really, really quickly because she's out in a dead zone at the corner of the map. But yeah, if you were looking for more like spread pressure early in the match, that would be how you would do it. It's a very, very common strategy with Plague. Ah! So, I was told this because I used to have issues with Plague doing the exact same thing that you're doing. You're not doing it too badly, but it's just, you know, a teachable moment that I learned is with Corrupt Purge, the one that actually does damage, you want to spread that as far as possible left, right on the screen because, you know, obviously you want the hit. But with the vomit, you're trying to get them sick as much as possible. So you want to get as much of the vomit on them directly instead of just kind of, you know, spreading it all over the place and hoping that at least a piece of it hits them. With Vial, you want to actually like try to, you know, pinpoint hit them and put all the vomit on them so they can get the sickness points up as quick as possible and obviously get broken, etc. Right? So don't spread back and forth with your vomit if it's green, but like spread back and forth when it's red. TLDR. She reads that. Interesting. I also thought she would have smacked that in your face. There were like she's already almost sick. You could have just like prepped your vomit and just kept puking on her, and I would have done that instead of going for the swing there. Yeah, you want to try to be accurate with your Vile Purge. With your Corrupt Purge, you can do, you know, whatever hits him, hits him. You could have hit that. You're just a little late. Just a little late. Yeah, she's camping that. That's such a... I can't believe that hit. That's so funny. That's so funny. Alright. So, Thurling's telling you that people are in front of you and off to your left. Thurling, similarly, same strategy. Like, go puke on the gens you know people are on. So you kind of put them in that same losing situation. Yeah, see, exactly like that. It's a spread more when you're doing red puke versus green. Now you're in kind of a situation where you're kind of like in a panic mode almost because like nobody's sick. So you're essentially just kind of like bad Huntress right now because the advantage that, since I was talking about this at the beginning of the match, the thing that Plague has advantage over Huntress is ideally her, if you get people sick and you're efficient about keeping people sick, which is the point of the character, the point of Plague, your ranged attack, your Corrupt Purge, is in a sense an instant out because everybody's broken all the time. But when you're in a situation like this where you kind of just hard focused one person instead of the whole team and then you picked up your Corrupt Purge, you're essentially having to hit 2 shots on everyone now, which, you know, Huntress just does better. So it's like, that's why I said earlier, like, it's better to, like, spread your pressure early as Plague. That way, when you pick up your Corrupt Purge later, everybody's just one shot. She's a very complicated character. Like, she is a big macro game killer. You lagged there. That was scary. How did that not hit her? What is that hit, Reg? Hello? How did she not get hit from that? Yeah, she left. She didn't stay there. Yeah, that hit reg was bad. That's another reason I don't really play her a lot, because the hit reg on her, the hit registration on her puke is very bad. It's very frustrating. Oh, that's unfortunate. A lot of people are getting sick in the background, which is good. Like, Nia's still broken. Yoichi's getting sick. So you have stuff happening, but they are, Chase is a little long. Oh, that was the right idea! Oh my god, what was that twirl? Oh, that was terrifying. Yeah, you had the right idea there. That was a good mind game. You were just slightly off. Yeah, now gens are flying in the background. So at this point, you have committed an enormous amount of time on this chase. Like, let's see. We're at 312, right? 312. You start chasing her. You puke at this gen, this corrupt gen. Yeah, you kick this, and then... Not this corrupt gen, but, like, she's on this gen. So you have spent over a full minute in this chase. You should never be spending over a full minute in any chase. I know you've committed a lot of time to this Michaela, so you're like, I should at least go ahead and get the down, but, like, you should never be committing to over a minute to anybody in chase. And this is like, not saying you specifically, but this is where a lot of killer mains in their head are being like, I'm getting gen rushed. I'm getting gen rushed. And it's the reality. It's like people commit to chases for over a minute over and over. And then the gens start flying because they just are consistently having 1 minute plus like time chases, which is really, really bad. Like I say in a lot of videos, ideally your chases should be like 30 to 40 seconds. And if it starts getting outside of there, if you start getting past 50 seconds to a minute, you should probably just, for example, this Michaela has, dropped a lot of pallets. So you have gotten something out of this chase. Even if you're going to get the down, you've gotten some pallets out of the way, you've created some dead zones. And none of your slowdown here on the right, Thana, Thrilling, Corrupt's already gone. It's like none of this is based on actually downing the survivors, so you're not really like, it's not like you're running perks that you need to get this down right now. I would go focus on the 2 people that are broken, specifically Nia, since you've already hurt her already. Yep, you leave her. Okay, like the moment I'm like, hey, stop chasing this person. It's been over a minute. You're like, okay, goodbye. If you hadn't made that realization like 20 seconds earlier, that would have been good. You knew, just a little late. She insta cleanses, which is not good. Not good for them. She's already broken. You don't need to vomit on her. She's already broken here on the left. You don't need to vomit on her at all. She just leaves the tile. Now she's going to Shack. Yeah. Michaela just got sick, so she hopped on the Lodge Gen. So you know where she is. Yep. At least half the team is, for me, for corrupt value, I would say, because corrupt, in a sense, the corrupt purge, as much, like I said, there's no reason to, like, you gotta find the reasons to use her corrupt purge in a way that makes her just better than Huntress. Because Huntress will always have, like, the best ranged attack in the game. So, like, what ways can you apply corrupt purge that actually make it better than the standard? And one of the ways is that it has better slug potential than Huntress. Like the corrupt purge has better slug potential than Huntress hatchets. So I would say at least half the team broken. I would start looking for your corrupt and starting to like put people down, especially with Michaela already on the way to being broken as well. That's a good time to start grabbing your corrupt purge, because then you can start, you know, getting some snowball as well. Yeah, see there? You should have spread it a little bit more. Although, he's not thick at all, so this is going to be a double hit. Yeah, you're wasting a lot of... yeah, I would have definitely... yeah, I would have went after Michaela, because Michaela... I'm pretty sure that was Michaela... that was Michaela, right? Because you saw Nia... you saw Nia on the other side of the map. So unless she sprinted over here, I don't think that's her. There's somebody else here. Oh, that is Nia. Yeah. Why did you? That is Nia. Why did you not go for the person that's already broken and go for the fresh person that's not sick? Like, maybe take a single hit on him, right? Like, if you would hit this corrupt purge, take the hit on him and then keep going. But you definitely should have went after the person that was already broken to keep your slug pressure instead of going for a person that was completely healthy. Yeah, you see her run to the right and you just kind of let her go. Yeah, that's... yeah. I would have prioritized her. Because you're at 3 gens, you only have 1 hook. You don't have a lot of pressure on them right now. You need more hooks. You're like trying to like flick with her puke, and her puke doesn't really work that way. Like, you would do that with like a Huntress hatcher, right? Like, you would like look one way and then like flick the other. That would make sense for like her. But like, you don't really do that with Plague's Vomit. Plague's Vomit is more about area spread. Like, you're trying to like cover as much of an area as possible with your corrupt, so one of these pieces of your corrupt hits. Because if you didn't know this, that's essentially how corrupt and vile purge, that's how they work. They're a bunch of tiny hitboxes connected together in a line. That's what they are. Like, Huntress hatchets are just like a circle, a sphere that go out and it's just one and it flies. But like with Plague's Vomit, both of them, it's a bunch of little hitboxes like in a line. So what you're doing is you're taking that line and you're moving it back and forth to cover a massive area. So if they dodge left or if they dodge right, it doesn't really matter because you've covered so much space in front of you that one of these is going to hit him, because there's like a million little hitboxes on the screen right now. But you're trying to like flick and hit him in like exactly with your corrupt purge, and you've missed him like 5 times at this point. Flicking as Plague, that's kind of missing the point of why you picked that power over Huntresses. Like, you don't flick with this. You try to just spread over an area as much as possible. Don't do that. And now you missed the end one. Yeah. These chases are very long. I'm not saying this to be in any way mean or to you at all, I promise. But like these minute chases, if you lose this match, this is why. You commit to chases for an incredibly long period of time. When things can keep consistently going wrong, you keep sticking to the chase. Like, okay, let's see, 505. Let's look at when this chase begins with Ace. Okay, you get him. So he's on this gen right now. You're about to puke. So you spend almost a full minute on this chase. Just a little under a full minute on this chase is when you finally let go. If your chases are lasting longer than 40 seconds and you're getting past 50 seconds, like, it's time to go. And you basically got one down with your power, and that was it. You had Nia there, Michaela was somewhere broken, and you didn't capitalize on this at all, because that's the point of play. It's like a 1-2. It's a 1-2 step, right? Get everybody broken so they're one shot. Then step 2, use your corrupt to create a huge slug situation and down everybody. You got this mostly right, because you have like 3 people on the team broken and 1 person not, which is really good. But the corrupt purge, you focused a healthy person. You slugged one broken person and then chased an injured person, or chased a healthy person for almost a minute again. You should have been looking for these 2, and you had access to Nia. You saw Nia, and you didn't go after her. So, yeah, that's probably a big thing that this moment where you didn't capitalize on this will snowball to bad things for you. And I don't say this at all to be like, you know, wow, you big dummy or anything. Like, Plague is a very macro heavy killer up in the brain. Like, that's one of the reasons, like, if I found out somebody mains Plague, like, I respect for them, because there's no such thing really as like chill game on Plague, because you get the most value out of Plague by always thinking about everything all the time. She's a very like mentally demanding killer because she requires so much macro game to be performed correctly. She's a very it's a very intense killer. So yeah, like, don't feel bad about that. Oh no. Oh no. Here we go.
Are you the plague cause you make me love sick?
That's a good one. I might use that tomorrow. That's a good one. That's good. Good one, Des. That was good. Yeah, now they're cleansing and undoing your pressure. That right there is a good thing to do, but not here. I see what you're doing where you're like spinning and trying to like, you know, rotate one side of the loop to the other and keep changing momentum. That way you can gain a little bit of distance. But in a loop that's this long, they're still going to make the pallet, and they could even go up and get the window because they're at the crane. Usually mind games like that work at like shorter loops. Like I would say like a path tile, even like in some circumstances, a long wall, short wall. Like you can do that kind of mind game and, you know, actually get the hit. But in a tile that's as long as like the crane tile here, or like normal jungle gyms, long wall jungle gyms, shack, like doing that's not going to get you enough distance to beat them to the resource. So it kind of is just a waste of time. It is a good mind game, just like not at this tile. It works better at shorter tiles. See, because he's still going to make the pallet. So like really doesn't matter. You should get him here. Yeah. But if he had Dead Hard, that would have been scary. Yeah. He's already broken. Why'd you puke on him? The reason you do that play right there where you puke on the hook is because if they're like fully uninfected, like Michaela, you could puke on them, and then they're infected when they come off hook. So yeah, but the Yoichi's already broken, so there was like no reason to do that. Yeah. Hey, Super Shaggy, how's it going? Somebody's drinking right there. Yeah. Go smack him. He's in a dead zone. Easy peasy. Wait out the dead hard. Smart. Not boil over. Fun. This is a fun thing I'm going to teach you guys, because this is something that helps me a lot. Boil over can work in your favor. Blood favor. Boil over can work in your favor. Whenever you're being pulled one direction by boil over, because what will happen is like the wiggles are extremely exaggerated. So it'll pull you, usually it'll pull you slightly left, but with boil over, it'll swing you to the left and then swing you to the right. On your actual controller or keyboard, actually go with those directions. If you get pulled left, aim left. If you get pulled right, aim right. And what ends up happening is if you go with the flow of where the boilover is pulling you instead of resisting it, it actually kind of almost acts like free agitation, except you don't really have control over it. Because if you just go with the flow and you're not like in a building, like you're in a situation like this where you're out in like an open area, if you just go with the flow of where it's pulling you, it's free distance. It's free distance. It's just like, okay, everything is fine. Like, go ahead, pull me this direction. You're helping me get to the hook. So do that in response to boil over. Don't try to fight it. Actually just go with the flow of whatever the perk's pulling you, and it'll help a lot. Obviously, like I said, if you're in an indoor map and stuff, you're going to be bumping into stuff like a little different, but yeah. In general, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Vogan, what's up? All right, you help me. How's your Monday? Wait, you would have made that. Wait, what? What? You, the hook. The hook's right there. The hook's right. Oh, the hook's over there. It's right there. It's right there. You could have made it. I don't know if you were just frazzled and like feeling stressed out at this point, but like you 1000% could have made that, especially if you did the strat that I just talked about. Oh yeah, you make that easy peasy. Kill that's a snake? No. This is my main game, man. You want me to just be constantly afraid and terrified the whole time? That I would have to be like Amanda. I'd have to like go next. Like Amanda goes next against Plague, I'd have to go next. The Viper. No, I would not enjoy that. No thanks. But yeah, you definitely could have made that hook. I don't know if you were just like frazzled or worried that you wouldn't, but yeah, you could have definitely made that hook. And I definitely can't get him anywhere now that you know, he's he will wiggle out the moment you pick him up. He's still a slug, so he's still pressure. Obviously, I'm gonna say it. The mean thing. I would go after Yoichi here. I would go after Yoichi. I would tunnel here. You're at 1 gen and you have 2 hooks. You have 2 hooks. I would go after Yoichi. So then he would be hooked, and then he would be a death hook afterwards, and you could potentially kill him. I would tunnel here. It's not even your killer, just a giant snake. No! I would not be cool with that. No, thanks. No, thanks. Yeah, she's not even broken. You're gonna have to, like, puke on her to get her... Okay. They got Ace up. At this point, everybody's sick. I wouldn't waste the time puking on the gen. Everybody's sick. If they come back and touch it, that does nothing for you. You got some progress on Blood Lodge, too. I would pick and commit to a side. You like I said, like, those little wiggle mind games that you do, they're really good at, like, short tiles. Or shorter tiles, but like doing them at a long tile like that, especially with through the window where she could see you, like she messes up here. But like, I would stop doing the little like that little like dance that you do unless it's like a shorter tile, because you waste a lot of time just kind of like sitting there, just like it's like you're like a basketball player like trying to like block him. It's like that, like that's not gonna work unless it's a shorter tile. Hey Jaded, welcome back. We're doing match reviews now. You also need to be more patient. Like, I understand that you get, like, I initially would say most people in this situation, like, I get that you're flustered, you're at 1 gen, you only have 2 hooks. That's fine. But also, like, you've been doing this since 5 gens, where you just kind of, like, swing too early. I would tailgate a little bit more, be more patient with your swings, because there were so many, like, at this point, like, you know, you get a little anxious and you miss 1 shot or here and there, like, that's fine. It's okay. But you have consistently throughout this match missed so many swings that at this point you could have had like at least three-ish more hooks if you had actually just been more patient. You got to be more patient. Like I say that. You guys see me say that to myself all the time. I'll do that. I'll swing and I'll miss. I'll be like, oh, I got too excited there. I got too excited. I just wanted to hit. But like you were doing it like almost every chase. Almost every chase I've seen in this video, you whiff at least once. And that is time in DBD is gen time. If you whiff, that's more time that they in more distance they get away from you. And that time is gen time in the background. And if you're whiffing every single chase, that time adds up. If you're whiffing literally every single chase. That's not good. I'll be more patient. Swirling should give you info. Oh, they all have boilover. See, like you're fighting it. That's why you're getting stuck, because you were fighting it. Yeah, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. Let it pull you wherever. I'm going to say something. You know what's funny here? This hook was the same distance from the hook that you dropped ace for. And you made this, and you would have made that. This Michaela, you said, screw it, I'm taking her to that hook. You could have done the same with ace. Ace, this was almost the exact same distance. You would have made that. Once again, she's already broken. There's no reason to puke on her. Yeah, like there's no reason to spin there. Okay, so like here, I'm gonna break this down for you why this doesn't work. Because I've been telling you it doesn't work, but this is a perfect example why. So Yuichi goes in here, right? Yuichi runs into Shaq, and he's behind a wall. So he's probably looking behind him and looking at the front of the front door of Shaq here, right? So he's probably looking behind him, and he sees a little bit of the red stain here, maybe, but you're a little far away. So spinning here does nothing. Because all you're doing is just spinning your red stain in a circle when you can probably barely see it, if not at all. Because you're just too far away from the door, because the side of this tile is really long. The side of Shaq is really long. So you just like spun around in a circle when you potentially possibly can't even see your red stain because it's so long. You literally just did a little pirouette for like no reason. Which is why it's like not good at long tiles, because if you're not flashing your red stain, there's no point to do the mind game at all. Even let's say like you got, like you're going to get up here, right? You're going to walk into Shaq, right? Let's say if you do it, do you do it here again? Okay, so like this, without showing yourself, makes more sense. Because even though it probably won't get you the hit, it might force a pallet drop or something. Like you put your red stain here where you can actually firmly see it, and then you look left away to hide it around, and then you come back. See, he kind of hesitates right there. Now, he'll probably still be able to greet it, but he has an option here, right? Either I greed this and potentially get hit if there's no other tiles to chain, or I have to drop this pallet. So even at this longer tile, that helped because you did it here at the actual like door, but doing that little pirouette behind a wall where he can't even see you, like that doesn't do anything. Because it's all about the red stain manipulation, and if the survivor can't see the red stain, or the survivor's just not paying attention, that happens a lot. I'll mind game somebody, and they're not even like looking behind him. It's just not worth it. It does nothing. It literally does nothing. Okay. So you mind game him, right? We just talked about that situation, right? You come up to this door. Okay, this is... All right. You come up to this door, you show your red stain, then you look left, and then you come back in. He hesitates. He has to run now, and like I said, he has two options. Either he pre-drops Shaq pallet to make sure he's safe, or he greeds Shaq pallet and prays that there's something around that he can get to. Either you get a very, very valuable resource out of the way, or you get the hit, both of which are good for you. So you've made him hesitate and put him into a lose-lose situation. And then you leave to do more mind games? I don't think... and I do mean this respectfully, because I'm trying to help you, is like, I don't think you understand what mind games are for. I think you just do them to try and, like, get the hit, but you don't know why mind games work, and, like, you don't have a good game sense. I think that's what I was summarizing. You don't really have a good game sense. Like, you do mind games just whenever you're in chase, irregardless of what's happening. There's no difference than what you're doing than a survivor who just doesn't look behind them and just runs straight. You're essentially just doing mind games whenever there's a chase without really... You don't really have a goal in mind. Because like I saw that, right? I saw the mind game you just did. Because like I said, either he has to throw Shack Pallet or he's got to pray he has a chainable tile nearby. That's a win-win for you, because either you get the hit or you get a very valuable resource out of the way. And then you just give up that situation for no reason, which leads me to believe that you're just doing mind games just to do mind games, and you don't really have a game plan. You're just I see my favorite streamer do this, so I'm just gonna do it and not really get like why. It's all about the manipulation of the red state. Because like, what are you doing right now? Just like I talked about a minute ago. What are you doing right now? Like, you're trying to hide your red stain, but he already can't see your red stain. He is inside of a building with really long walls on every side. He already can't see your red stain. He already doesn't know where you are. So why are you flicking your red stain back and forth behind a wall where he already can't tell where you're at? It literally is doing nothing. It is quite literally doing nothing. And I don't mean that to be demeaning to you, because like, this could be the first time somebody's ever told this to you, right? Like, if this is the moment you learned this, this is the moment you learned this. I mean, there was a time way back when I was like brand new at the game, which is like why I said why the hours part is important, where I would see my favorite streamer just like run back and forth at like a short loop, and I'd be like, oh wow, I could get a hit that way. And then I would do it at longer loops. I'd be like, okay, this just doesn't work, right? Hey, what's this button do? Yeah, it's like you see it, you do it, you imitate it, because you're trying to figure out like, okay, I saw this work for somebody else, I'm going to do it. But if you don't know why they use that play at that specific moment, you end up in this situation where you're using the play in the wrong moment, and it's actually costing you. Okay. All right. This is why, like, this isn't why you lost, but this is a big part of why you lost, is you don't know what mind games are for. Mind games with Killer are about, you know, circumventing one side of the loop to either gain distance or to use your red stain to trick the survivor. Sometimes, often both. But you don't know what mind games for, so you're just kind of like doing them whenever, even if it doesn't actually benefit you. And you need to invest some time into actually performing and learning when to use these mind games instead of just using them all the time for no, like what happens? So you mind game him, and then you finally get over there. He's just gonna drop Shack Pallet in your face. Like, this doesn't end with you downing him. It really doesn't. Like, this isn't good. Why is it the redeem once per stream? Because it's funny to watch people go, I'm first 4 hours into stream. It's funny. It's a meme. It's a joke. Not actually whoever's first. It's just a joke. He actually almost falls for that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm first now. Yeah. You know what's funny too? You could have hit him there. You know what's funny? This is how I know what I'm talking about here. Is you could have hit him there. Like, watch. You do this mind game, and he actually almost falls for it. You swing, but if you had just followed him out the door, and just followed him, not trying to, like, I don't know, try your ballerina lessons here. If you actually just followed him out the door and followed him to the right, he doesn't have anything. He has to medium vault Shack, which you could just hit him through, because medium vaults are very, very long lingering hitboxes. You could have just hit him like vaulting through Shack. But you decide once again, I'm a big brain killer. I'm gonna like do like a little pirouette and then go back in Shack. He's literally at the corner. He was look at this. I'm not saying this to be mean to you, I promise. But like, look at this. Look at this. You are literally basically in lunge distance. You're basically in lunge distance. Look, he's right there. He's right at the corner. You tailgate him for like literally like, you walk 2 more feet. He's medium vaulting that window and you smack him. You are literally beating yourself right now. Like I'm not being dead serious. You are literally defeating yourself right now. You are this chase. When did this chase start? We're at 9:13. I'm gonna remind me to do this when this chase is over. You invested an egregious amount of time in this chase, and most of it is because you're literally spinning around and not even trying to hit him. You're literally just like you're I don't know how to describe it. You're literally just like dancing like a ballerina instead of chasing the survivor. You think you're doing mind games, but you're literally, this is the second time you could have swung and hit him, and you just kind of let him go because you know I'll just mind game him and I'll hit him. Not. You're beating yourself. Oh, please stop mind gaming. Just chase him. Just chase him. See, what did I say? How would this chase end? This chase would not end with you getting hit. It would be with him just dropping Shack Pallet, which you could have forced probably 2 whole minutes ago. 9:29. See, when did we get to Shack in this chase? 9:29? Over a minute ago, you could have forced Shack down. Over a minute ago, you could have forced Shack down. Over a minute ago, you could have forced Shack down. You chased with him for over a minute and don't even get the hit. Yeah, now he's just gonna get body blocked. At this point, you're just trying to get points. In fact, people do that. You're not gonna get him. No. Yep. Yep. Let's see what builds they had. Anything egregious? Anything crazy? Okay, we don't see their builds, but in the future as well, just as much as it's important to see your house, it's important to see the builds of the survivors as well, because if they're running oops all meta, you know, obviously that changes some things as well, because I can be like, oh, well, you just got outperked. You know, if you lose a match and it was close, and or even if it wasn't close, and I just see a lot of like 3 BNPs and stuff like that, I can be like, okay, whatever. Like you didn't really mess up too much. You just kind of got outperked. You got out itemed. So make sure you guys are showing that as well. That way it gives me more context to why the match went the way it did. Okay. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. See what's happening on Twitter? No. No, I did not. Unless you mean just the Twitter blue thing in general, then yes. But other than that, no. There's a lot to unpack here. So, I would argue that in this match, the main thing that beat you here was not the survivors, it was you. You beat you here. It was not them. We've had plenty of matches where that we've reviewed so far where the survivors beat themselves, and it was on the flip side where like the killer was not that much of an influence. There's just the survivors playing very badly. This is kind of like an invert situation where the mistakes you repeatedly made throughout this match were the reason you lost, which is good because these are things you are all tangible and easily changeable. Well, not easy in some of them, but you know what I'm saying. Like all of this is in your hands. All of this is things that you have the power to improve on and to change. Like we will be back here with another match review that you send in like weeks from now where you ingest the things I'm about to tell you and you will be better for this. So this is a good situation. This is not a bad situation. So main takeaways. Number 1, you commit to chases way too long. There should be no reason you are in a chase for over a minute. You should never be in a, there should not be a 60 your timer should not hit 60 seconds in a chase. It really shouldn't. Unless like it's like, oh, well, this kill is really crucial. Like this guy's on death hook and like this kill will like snowball for the rest of the game or something like that. Like there's obviously some exceptions to that. But in general, most of the time, 90% of the time, you should never be in a chase for more than a minute. You have multiple chases that last way over a minute. This chase with Yoichi at the end, you don't even end up getting him. And let's see how long this chase was. The match ends at 10:05. When do you start chasing Yoichi? Okay. When do you spot him? Okay. Okay. So 8:24, and the match ends at 10:05. This chase is quite literally almost 2 whole minutes long, and you don't even get him at the end. Like that chase was quite literally almost 2 whole minutes long, and you don't even get him at the end. There's no reason to be spending that amount of time in a chase. And all of your we counted like what, 3 or 4 chases this match where all of them were a minute plus. There was one that was like 50 something seconds, but even then that's not good either. Ideally your chases should be 30, 40 seconds. If it's getting over 50, you got to start thinking in those last, like, this 10 seconds before it reaches a minute. Should I leave this? Am I going to get this hit soon? Because I need to go. That's what you should be thinking around the 50-second mark, is like, should I stay here? Should I keep committing to this, or should I go? So that's a huge part of why this match went wrong. Because gens are only 90 seconds, right? Gens are only 90 seconds. So if you're spending 60 seconds not getting a down, 60 seconds to get a down, like 60 seconds, that's like, it's a lot of gens popping in the background. It's a lot of gens popping in the background while you're spending a minute. So you need to be patient. You need to be way more patient. Way more patient. It's okay to swing and miss. That's like the best people in this game swing and miss. You go to an odd stream, he swings and misses. It happens. But with you, it was almost every single chase, whether it be with your power or with your M1, where you were swinging and missing. And that's a big reason a lot of these chases extended to being over a minute, was because you kept swinging and missing, which is, it's fine every once in a while because we're human, we make mistakes. But a lot of the reasons you missed were not just, oh, okay, well, I misjudged that because I'm a human and I make human error. You were just being too impatient. That wasn't just one mistake. It was a pattern. It was every chase you were swinging and missing. Like, I swing and, like, there will be a day. I can play a whole day and I'll miss like once. I'll whiff like once or twice. Right? I'll whiff like once or twice. You should not be whiffing once or twice a single chase unless you're like brand new to the game. You should not be whiffing that much in a chase. You need to be more patient. If it means tailgating them a little bit more than swinging, that's fine. If it means going into with Plague, with a Corrupt Purge, going into a custom match and kind of testing like how her power works, so you're not whiffing straight through people all the time like you were, that's what it needs to happen. But you need to be more patient, because that time missing extended those chases a long time, and that time added up. And those are the 2 main things. Those are the 2 main reasons you lost. That right there, those are the 2 main ones, is that your chases were too long and you were being impatient, so you were just whiffing when you shouldn't have been whiffing. So you need to be more patient so you can actually guarantee those hits. Just a third thing is like, just learn more how her power works from like just from the top to the bottom. Know the power of the character you're using, because there was like, it's just little things that didn't really lose you the match but would have helped. Is like at the beginning I said, like, you brought corrupt intervention, puke on all the uncorrupted gens, that way you can get everybody sick early. That way when you grab your Corrupt Purge, you're not just pressuring one person, you're pressuring the whole team. When you're using your Vile Purge, don't spread your Purge around. Aim directly at the person, because you're trying to get them sick as quick as possible, right? So you want as many direct hits as possible. Whereas Corrupt Purge, you want to aim all over the place, because you just need the hit. It doesn't matter how many of the individual hitboxes hit them. You just need one of them to. So just like little stuff like that that's intricate, that actually, like, it's pretty vital to playing a character as complex as Plague. It's good to get those under your belt. Also, and this is the first time we'll have 4 of these. I'm going to be very annoyed editing this later. 4 of these. Is that Boil Over is not as scary as you think it is. Boil Over is at its most scary when it's used like, people intentionally going in down in the top of a building where you have no option except to like drop or carry them a long distance. Otherwise, with Boil Over, just lean into the pulls, the turns that it tries to make you do, and it'll actually like work in your favor. It really will, unless you're like I said, they go up in the top of a building, they go down, or they're in an indoor map. Indoor maps are also Boil Over, which gets pretty annoying. But you could actually make Boil Over work for you. And you got really, really scared of it with Ace for some reason. It just dropped Ace when you definitely could have made the hook. So So yeah, those are your takeaways. Luckily, like I said, this is a good thing. All of these are things that you can change in a relatively short period of time. Like if you come back next month and you work on all this stuff, you will never make any of these mistakes again. If you actually take what I say to heart and just work on all this for a month, you'll never have to worry about it again. You will solve all your problems. The ball is essentially all in your court. What I'm trying to say, the ball is in your court. So everything here that happened is preventable and something that you can work on and ergo prevent. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you. Hopefully, this leads to you not making those same mistakes as you move forward in the game. And it's kind of up to you. It's just kind of up to you if you want to invest that time to do that. So